What's going on, guys? Adam Green here with No More News. Thank you all for joining me today, Monday, July 14th, 2025. So much to cover and talk about with you guys today. Going to be discussing Trump out again, posting that he is saved by God. Divine intervention protected him from the assassination, and now he is on a holy crusade to save the world and save Israel. We've got that. We've got a bunch of clips from TPUSA, some Zionist, some Epstein talk. We got some of the latest Epstein copes from Alex Jones and QAnon people and others. And we've got a whole bunch, if we have time, we've got a whole bunch of Christian and Christian question stuff to expose as well. Gonna be a huge show. We're gonna be back tomorrow with David Skirbina, author of the Jesus Hoax and other books. Philosophy professor will be back on the show tomorrow. David Skirbina, that'll be 2 p.m. Eastern. We got t-shirts up at nomorenews.org. A few more left, mostly larges. A few larges left. And the V-neck Viking longboat shirt. And the one I'm wearing today, the Viking owl. Help spread the message, help spread the green pills, and support the channel. So David Skirbina tomorrow, and Thursday we've got Owen Schroyer coming back on the show. It should be a doozy. Owen returning once again. That's 10 p.m. Eastern. So tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern. Thursday with Owen, 10 p.m. Eastern. Okay. We'll be talking about some of these Epstein copes and a whole lot more. Okay, number one, Trump posted yesterday, 1 year ago today, everybody's selling the anniversary. July 13th, Butler, Pennsylvania, Trump says, I was saved by God to make America great again. I believe that. I believe that. You should believe that. Everybody should believe that. I don't have a date with the Asatra dude, but I'm going to get it scheduled very soon. One of their leaders. Everybody's been putting me in contact with. So Trump went from just kind of just throwing this out there, teasing it in some speeches. Now it's like official White House post, 35,000 likes. Saved by God to bomb Iran. Saved by God to crush anti-Semitism. Saved by God to cover up the Epstein scandal. Saved by Hashem. Saved by Hashem and the rabbis to make Edom, to bring Edom into the golden age. The letter he did to the Rebbe, honoring the legacy of the Rebbe and Chabad Lubavitch, bringing peace on earth. Praise Hashem, that's right. Trump said he was saved by God so he could save America. Hold on. We're on quiet. Thanks for warning me.
Obligation to do a good job, I feel, because I was really saved. I was really saved by somebody very special. People that are shooters, I'm not so much of a shooter, but people that were shooters say it's almost impossible that was a miss. I mean, it was a hit, but it was a miss. Although I do get that throbbing feeling every once in a while.
Is that right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Does anybody believe that? There's nothing, literally not the slightest little mark or scab or indentation on his ear.
No, I owe a lot. And I hope the reason I was saved was to save our country. You know, we had a country that was...
Dude, the way this sells, they focus group this shit. They beta test this. They know the psychological response. They know exactly what they're doing. Frame him as God's chosen vessel. If God is with him, who are you to be against him, right? Christians, right, America? Does it get any more obvious that he's the Messiah? He's Superman. He's the Pope. He's your superhero.
I don't say dead because it's too strong, but we had a country that was really very close to being finished, in my opinion. And now we have the hottest country in the world. That's why I'm so saddened by this. Obligation to do a good job, I feel, because I was...
And then he said this as well recently. He wants to be remembered as the man who saved America.
A good person.
Just to wrap up here,
You're talking about people not remembering.
Oh, this is his daughter-in-law, by the way, giving him interviews on Fox News.
Just to wrap up here, you're talking about people not remembering. I don't think anyone will ever forget President Donald J. Trump. But when history looks back on this time in our country, when history looks back on you, how would you like to be remembered?
A good person, but a person that saved our country. I really believed our country was going down for the fall. I don't know if it ever could have come back. It was very close to the edge. And I really would like to be known as the man that saved our country.
Well, I think you've started off on the right track there.
So far.
And how so far everything has panned out, he'll probably end up being the one that destroys the country. We will see. Oh, what is that? Flynn is trending? Oh, no. Flynn is on Alex Jones again, as usual. Here's some interesting news as well. We all called this was going to come, right? The AIing, the Palantiring of the government with Doge and Elon and Peter Thiel. Pentagon to start using Grok as part of a $200 million contract with Elon Musk's XAI. So the lines are really being blurred between Elon and X and the government, the Pentagon. And you think it was an accident that Grok went hardcore anti-Semitic the other day? I don't think so. Netanyahu did a big sit-down interview with Mark Levin on Fox News. He says Trump deserves at least 6 Nobel Peace Prizes. Oh, that's right. We're getting the Powerchat turned on after this clip. And the links for the Powerchat where your message will be read. The best way to support the show. We were demonetized on Odysee. They got something back up and running. I got to get that figured out. But in the description below, in the live chat on Rumble and Odysee right now, there's the Powerchat link. Want to hear from you guys. Want to hit the goal.
Brokered the peace between India and Pakistan. Well, if anyone deserves the Nobel Peace Prize, it's President Trump. First of all, he brokered with me the historic Abraham Accords, in which Israel made peace with 4 Arab states. I think that deserves maybe 4 Nobel Prizes for him. Secondly, he is actively working on every single corner of the earth. He brokered peace in Africa.
Hold on. This is prophetic. The 4 corners of the earth. Hold on. I'm going to look it up. Messianic verse about the Messiah reaching the 4 corners of the earth.
He brokered peace in Africa between Rwanda and the Congo. That was a bloody conflict that was taking untold number of lives. He ended it. He helped broker the peace between India and Pakistan. 2 nuclear powers. I think that's kind of important. That would deserve a Nobel Prize. He's got at least 3 other places that I know he's working on, including with me, on expanding the Abraham Accords. That deserves a Nobel Prize. So I think that everybody should join nominating President Donald J. Trump for the Nobel Prize. Let it be a noble Nobel Prize. It's about time.
All right. Guess where it's from? Isaiah 11:12. Isaiah 11 is a deeply messianic verse. He will raise a banner for the nations. Jesus, as Christianity raised the banner for the Goyim, he will assemble the scattered people of Judah from the 4 quarters of the earth. There's 4 quarters of the earth. We have Matthew 24. The edge of the earth, the end may reach the ends of the earth, Isaiah 49:6. Okay, anyway, of course. So they're heaping praise from the 4 corners of the earth to the Prince of Peace, Donald Trump. So they got the Prince of Peace from Isaiah 9. They've got the messianic figure from Isaiah 11. They're casting lots for his garments, like Psalm 22. He's releasing the captives and freeing the captives, I believe, like Isaiah 49 and 60, I want to say 49 and 61 maybe. Covered on past streams. Bannon is calling to have Trump be on the 2028 ballot. This has been his thing. He's been saying this in a bunch of interviews. They're going to push for him to be king and dictator forever. And another 3.5 years of his presidency before the election. Is the war going to kick off again so that he has to stay in power longer, like Netanyahu's been doing to push off the corruption charges?
So now we have to get down to it. Because President Trump, and I'm a big believer President Trump's going to run again at 28. We'll figure this out, right? Until somebody can prove to me that you can get low propensity voters without him on the ticket, then President Trump's going to the ticket. President Trump is unique in American history. You've had General Washington, you've had Abraham Lincoln, now you got Donald Trump. The three greatest presidents we ever had. And the reason he may actually be greater, when he went back to Mar-a-Lago, when the Republican Party abandoned him and Fox News abandoned him and the left was coming after him and the deep state was then going to put him in prison, bankrupt him, smear his family. No American in history saw what was in front of him of all the challenges, right? All the challenges of going to prison for 300 years, of being bankrupt, of all. He made a conscious decision.
Brother BD sent $5 on Rumble. Something biblical about the July 13th date. I can't remember it.
I don't recall. Anybody in the chat? Was there some significance of July 13th?
And you know why he did that? Because of you. He knew there were people out there that had his back.
So they're running again. They want him to be king mode dictator. Pete Hegseth says what they always say. Remind ourselves the priorities. God first, then your family. God, Jesus, even before your own family. Let alone your own nation, your own tribe, your own people. And who is it? God of Israel first. God of the Jews first. What they say the Bible says first. Curse Israel first. They're God's chosen people. That's his promised land. So priorities, Israel. It's Israel first. If they're serving God first, in a way, they're serving Israel first before their own families, their own nations. That's the Christian mind virus. And that's the implications of really why they indoctrinate everybody with this line.
But let me start by saying, and a little bit of a message to all of you, because I'm looking out at the future of America. I think I might be looking out at some future warriors out here.
Warriors for Christ.
And we'll get to that in a moment. I hope some of you do.
Christ Crusaders. Some Jerusalem, Yeshua Christ Crusaders for the third temple. Some warriors. Some E-Crusaders. Some slaves of Zion.
Raise your right hand to defend the Constitution and defend the nation, because we're going to need it.
Pledge to Hashem.
As I focus on, getting our military back on track and doing that job and serving the greatest commander-in-chief our country has had, we also have to remind ourselves priorities, that ultimately we serve God first, that ultimately we serve. And that's the first question.
What does that mean? Serve the Jews that wrote the Bible? Put the Jewish myths first. That's what comes first. When they say God first, they really mean the Jewish myths first. They mean the Jewish Messiah first. That's what they're saying.
And I ask myself every day, am I honoring God with my actions?
Am I honoring
him first?
Yahweh?
And I think no matter how big your job is or how big your challenges are you seeking him in the word and in prayer? That's how the day needs to start. Because everything else goes sideways when it doesn't.
Yeah, warriors for Zion.
And then number two is serving your family, remembering what it's all about. My wife and daughter are here somewhere in the fog, but our 6 other kids, one of which is 15, and other of which are 14, they could and should be in this audience, and they will be soon. How am I serving them? How am I directing them and giving them the perspective that all of you have about their Lord and Savior and about this country and about the threats we face and their duty to do something about it? That's my job as a father and as a husband. So yes, we're fighting for our country, but God and family come first, and I hope you remember that in all of your great pursuits, in everything that you focus on in your own life.
Guys, I'm buying a new, if we get some donos, well, either way, I'm going to get a new wireless mic system so I can go record some more Man on the Streets, a little microphone system, and I'm going to do more street interviews. How about pretending to be a Christian and talking to other people and finding Christians and talking to them about Jesus and Christianity? How good will that be? Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, ma'am. Do you have faith in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? What ethnicity was he? Do you believe he's returning? What has to happen before he comes back? Who are God's chosen people? Oh, it's going to be so good. I love doing it. Megyn Kelly and Charlie Kirk openly claim that Epstein may have been a Mossad agent. The audience cheers.
In his connection to...
Do you think there's any intel community involvement in this?
I wouldn't be surprised one bit. I am convinced, based on my own sources and my own reporting on this story, he wasn't one of ours.
Goy on the street, worldwide, no hide pride. Yeah, big tech and me. I'll dress as Jesus. Maybe I'll do that for a video.
He was an American, which leads basically three options: MI6, Saudi, or Mossad.
Yep.
Which one would you choose?
I guess Mossad, given his connection to Ghislaine Maxwell.
Wow.
So what does that mean?
Well, I mean, it's possible that that's the reason everything's getting buried, that there is some treasure trove, and it's getting buried because...
How many people here believe that? Raise your hand. Okay, I'd say about half the hands think that it's being buried because of an Israeli.
Wow, TPUSA?
Oh, great, Odin's Raven.
Amazing. Can you guys believe it?
Thing.
It could be. I really don't know.
I have no evidence to suggest that.
No, me neither. I did think it was very odd how, look, half of you raised your hands because you've heard that theory, you've heard it debated, you have questions, but the one time Pam Bondi was asked a question about this at the cabinet meeting on Monday, she was like, and as for whether he was an agent, that I don't know. I haven't looked into that. I'll get back to you. You haven't looked into it? What do you mean? So that was kind of a fishy answer.
And Megan, remember Alexander Acosta in 2007, he said he was told to treat Epstein carefully because he was an intel asset. That was one of Trump's cabinet secretaries who was literally a U.S. attorney.
Alex Acosta?
In Florida. He said that himself.
Well, and let me tell you the consequences of that.
So apparently, I saw it reported this morning that Charlie Kirk apparently had a phone call with Trump, and Trump told him to stop talking about Epstein, and now Charlie has tweeted that he's done talking about Epstein. So this was the little release valve, get it out of your system, and then be like, well, we talked about it, we're not covering it up, and then moving on. And then pushing to move on. Watch.
Subpoena, his search warrant on Jeffrey Epstein's residence was very narrow. It was not the kind of like, let's get everything, let's see everything inside this guy's, dressers and so on. It was very, very narrowly tailored. And to this day, that's what the FBI is stuck with. So it really is possible that Dan and Cash got in there and, in like a Geraldo and Al Capone's vault situation, opened it up and we're like, oh my God,
Harlan
there's
sent
nothing in here.
$100 on Rumble.
Like, we did not
Go buy
find
your
the magic documents or photos or evidence of any.
Carlin.
And why not?
Carlin with the huge W. Thank you so much, Carlin.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
So cool. I will buy it immediately after the show ends.
Alrighty then.
I'm looking at a Rode wireless mic. And I will bring the good. I will bring the contents that makes the Groypers cry some more. Yeah, good job exposing all of those degenerate psychos. They're doing a real good job making Christians look evil and retarded. Keep it up. Nice work. All right.
I don't know we'll ever know why not. I'm not sure we'll ever know, but...
You guys know Carlin? She's the girl that exposes the communists. She had me on her show a couple weeks ago.
The names sent $5 on Rumble. It infuriates me, but I'm not surprised that Jones is still touting the QAnon talking points sweeping for Trump covering for Epstein. It's a cruel world to know that he'll probably retire a millionaire.
Oh, he definitely will, and we're going to cover those, Alex Jones. copes and spin and propaganda, and hopefully talk to Owen about it on Thursday as well. But yeah, Carlin, thank you so much for that big dono. I'm going to get that microphone. You'll be able to share the videos and say you bought the mic. And yeah, she was getting attacked by Christians for saying she agrees with me on Twitter the last few days, and they are just being like little rotten demons and making Christians look so bad. And they are seething and crying, and you can sense the desperation. It's beautiful to see. So shout out Carlin. I was thinking this morning, actually, we should probably do another show getting it more into Christianity. Some of your thoughts on all of this. Okay. Let's see. Tucker's rant, 10-minute rant about Epstein. Have you guys watched this? I've only seen like a short clip of it, but let's hear it. I'll watch it with you guys.
I did vote this time, and I don't like to vote because I don't believe in any of them. And this time I really felt like I know Trump well. I love Trump personally. And what we were looking at was just so awful and totalitarian and stupid. And it wasn't even the arguments that I disagreed with from the Kamala Harris. It's weird to even say her name now. Who was that exactly? It was like a bad dream. But it wasn't even so much the arguments I disagreed with, though I definitely disagreed with the arguments. It was the style of argument that drove me completely bonkers, summarized most crisply by "shut up, racist." Whatever you said, it was "shut up, racist." And it's like, but wait, first of all, I'm not a racist, but that's not even the point. The point is,
You know what? Before we get into that, I forgot. I just called it. I looked this up, okay? So Kirk says he's done talking about Epstein. He's going to trust his friends in the government. So in other words, everybody else, you need to stop talking about Epstein and trust the government. Trust the plan. Trust the people that promised you the Epstein documents and then now are covering them up.
This last weekend. So honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being. I'm going to trust my friends in the administration. I'm going to trust my friends in the government to do what needs to be done.
Yeah, well, we're not going to trust you and all your Zionist friends to tell the truth about a Mossad blackmail ring, Charlie. Sorry, not going to happen.
Forget about it.
Nice try, though.
All of it, balls in their hands. I've said plenty this last weekend. So if you guys want to see my commentary on it, that's fine. Honestly, I'm done.
See, I called it exactly, too. He says, such a lame controversy. Yeah, I spent the weekend talking about Epstein, as did many speakers. Nothing was off limits.
Just told you what I think. I just asked you an entirely legitimate question. Mostly, what the hell are you doing? And rather than answer it, you didn't pay me the respect that you would a human being. You treated me like a slave or an animal by telling me to stop barking. Shut up, racist. And I won't put up with that because I'm not a slave or an animal. I'm an American citizen, an adult man who pays his taxes. So
I'm a grown-ass man. I pay my taxes.
Questions for a living, and very often I get answers that I don't care for, that I disagree with, that I think are stupid. But at least they're answers. At least the person responding is treating me like a human being with a soul created in the image of the Creator. He's paying me the respect that every human being is due. When you ask a direct question to someone in charge, you are due. That person is morally bound to give you an
oh my God,
administration. Their insane desire to start pointless wars around the world. Their total unwillingness to protect this country domestically, to protect the people who live here, to protect the territorial integrity of the country, bringing in tens of millions of people illegally, giving them free stuff the second they get here, making a mockery of citizenship. I hated all of that. I hated all of that. But the thing I hated most was their total unwillingness to answer any question about why they were doing what they were doing, because it was just too insulting. And every single time I would just feel like raising the middle finger and screaming obscenities, which is not an adult response, I'll concede, but that's how I felt. And I think that's really at the heart of why the Epstein thing is so distressing. I mean, the guy was some weird sex freak who was abusing girls. We knew that. But the fact that the U.S. government, the one that I voted for, refused to take my question seriously and instead said, case closed, shut up, conspiracy theorist, was too much for me. And I don't think the rest of us should be satisfied with that. And by the way, let me just say really quickly, because I was so mad about it that I think I found out part of what's going on. I think we are going to find out more. And I think the truth, for whatever it's worth, in case you're interested, is that the DOJ didn't release lots of incriminating sex videos with Epstein and his billionaire pals because they don't have them. They don't have them because when the original search warrant was served 2007, I think, possibly 2006, I think 7, it was basically designed to protect Epstein. The search warrant was written in such a way to make sure that the feds never got their hands on the actually incriminating evidence. It's another way of saying the cover-up has been going on since 2007, almost 20 years. And so the real question is not, was Jeffrey Epstein a weirdo who was abusing girls? Yes, we can answer that. The real question is, why was he doing this, on whose behalf, and where did the money come from? And those are the questions that need to be answered. And I think it's entirely fair to ask them. And it's not adequate to say anyone who asked them is somehow desecrating the memory of little girls who died in Texas. I'm not going to put up with that answer. I don't care who gives that answer. That is not acceptable. And I think the real answer is Jeffrey Epstein was working on behalf of intel services, probably not American. And we have every right to ask, on whose behalf was he working? How does a guy go from being a math teacher at the Dalton School in the late 70s with no college degree to having multiple airplanes, a private island, and the largest residential house in Manhattan? Where did all the money come from? And no one has ever gotten to the bottom of that because no one has ever tried. And moreover,
no one's ever tried? Tons of people have been covering who Epstein is connected with. Have you interviewed anybody that's been digging into Epstein deeply? No, you're going to get up there and say nobody's ever tried. Like it hasn't been done in spades. Come on.
Extremely obvious to anyone who watches that this guy had direct connections to a foreign government. Now, no one's allowed to say that that foreign government is Israel because we have been somehow cowed into thinking that that's naughty. There is nothing wrong with saying that. There is nothing hateful about saying that. There's nothing anti-Semitic about saying that. There's nothing even anti-Israel about saying that. I've spent my entire life pretty much in Washington, where I knew and loved a number of people, including one very close person who worked at CIA. That has never prohibited me from saying, I think the CIA has done some horrible things, murdered a bunch of people, participated in the murder of a sitting U.S. president. It's got a whole trail of crimes.
The Zionists seemed really upset about Tucker for this, and it seems pretty benign to me.
It doesn't make me anti-American in any sense. I was born here. My family's been here for hundreds of years. I love this country. That's why I live here. So criticizing the behavior of a government agency does not make you a hater. It makes you a free person. It makes you a citizen. You're allowed to do that because you're not a slave. You're a citizen. And you have a right to expect that your government will not act against your interests, and you have a right to demand that foreign governments not be allowed to act against your interest. That's not creepy. It shouldn't be forbidden. And yet all of us have trained ourselves to believe that you can't say that somehow.
Zornder Edom says, all this Tucker noise builds up the rise of Edom against Israel, controlled demolition. I think you might be right. That could be what's going on here. The Elmo thing going on too. Elmo's going crazy, anti-Jewish. It got hacked supposedly. Grok doing the same thing.
That's like too naughty and forbidden. And the effect of making that off limits has been to create a lot of resentment, and I'll say it, hate online, where people feel like they can't just say, like, what the hell is this? You have the former Israeli prime minister living in your house. You have had all this contact with the foreign government. Were you working on behalf of Mossad? Were you running a blackmail operation on behalf of foreign government? By the way, every single person in Washington, D.C. thinks that. I've never met anyone who doesn't think that.
Wow.
I don't know any of them that hate Israel, but no one feels they can say that. Why? And I think the longer that we play along with it, the more subterranean and creepy and hateful the conversation actually becomes. So I think it's better just to say it right out loud. Did this happen? And of course, that question has been asked to the government of Israel, and their answer is, we're not going to tell you.
We're going to show the comments from the Naftali Bennett, former prime minister, to Tucker in a second here. He denies it. I'm sure we can all trust him, just like we could trust the Trump impeachment lawyer, Epstein's lawyer, Roger Stone's lawyer, David Schoen, the board member at the Zionist Organization of America. He says he talked to Epstein and he didn't work for nobody, didn't do nothing and didn't work for nobody.
And I think our answer should be, no. As long as we're sending you money, if you were committing crimes on our soil, we have an absolute right to know, did you do this or not? And yet everybody has been so brainwashed.
And I'm sure they're just going to tell us. They're just going to be like, yep, you got us. We were blackmailing all of you. So, oops, sorry. No, they'll lie forever.
Into thinking that's somehow an expression of hate or bigotry, when it's not. It's a baseline question that every U.S. citizen has a right to an answer on. What the hell was this? And by the way, if it turns out that it was nothing at all, that somehow Jeffrey Epstein really did earn $165 million giving tax advice to somebody, which is, for the record, a lot more than most people pay their accountants, and that none of this was actually a foreign intel operation, and that there was no blackmail involved, that actually Bill Gates was just hanging on the island because the weather was especially good. No one was videotaped doing anything immoral or illegal, and then that was used against them to get them to obey. If all of that is false, then just tell me how it's false. But don't call me a lunatic. And when Fox News runs a piece, as they did yesterday by Hugh Hewitt, saying that anybody who's got even more questions about Epstein is some kind of nutcase with an unhappy personal life, who's spending too much time on Twitter in the fervid fever swamps of conspiracies, up yours, buddy. Then why don't you answer the question then? Don't let anybody insult you, anybody, and I mean anybody, ever get away with insulting you instead of answering a legitimate question. Okay? Ever. And by the way, you will hear certain people say, well, that means you hate the person. No, it doesn't. I've got a bunch of kids. I would never let them get away with that. If I caught one of my kids, smoking weed in the bathroom at my house, and I was like, are you smoking weed in the bathroom? Shut up, racist. You hate me. No.
That's what the Christians are trying recently. Oh, you just hate Christians. You just hate us. You're being mean. You hate Christians more than Judaism, all that stuff. They're going for the hate cope.
You're my child. I don't hate you. Answer the freaking question.
Yeah.
Were you smoking weed in the bathroom or not?
We hate a Jewish myth, a subversive Jewish myth that's brainwashed everybody. Yes, you got me. Yeah, we think it's a big problem, obviously. You got me. But claiming you hate is not an argument. All right. So, not bad. This is from another section, I guess. Apparently there were Zionists walking out during this. People are claiming as well. This is where he talks about you can't serve two masters. So I assume it's a different part of the speech.
I also refer to common sense when I say that no man can serve two masters. It's not possible. I only have one wife for that reason. You say to your wife, I'm going to take another wife, but I'm going to love you just as much. Nothing's going to change.
Yeah.
My wife's going to look at me like, no, it's one wife. Because you can only really pledge your loyalty to one person or one country. That's just a fact. And there's also a sense, and this is relevant to me, and I know you're speaking about Israel, but it's not just Israel.
They're like, do a loyalty trope. Anti-Semitism definition.
I think it's a huge problem. I think anybody, by the way, who serves in a foreign military should lose his citizenship immediately. There are a lot of Americans who've served in the IDF. They should lose their citizenship. There's a lot of Americans who've served in Ukraine, and they should lose their citizenship. You can't fight for another country and remain an American, period. Obviously. I mean, it's like not even, it's so funny how all of been cowed into being like, oh, that's hate speech. No, it's not. You don't hear hate in my voice because there isn't any. It's just an obvious recognition of the truth. But there's a more insidious thing, and I say it's not just Israel. I'm not just trying to give myself cover. I'm being honest. There are a ton of countries that offer citizenship, actually. some of which I love. I have been offered citizenship in a couple of different countries that I really like. And I thought,
Russia.
And then I thought, no, there's something about being lashed to the mast. Like, everyone can see that America's in trouble, the demographic trends are really bad, and the country's decaying and cities are falling apart. So you're like, oh, wow, you know, maybe I should flee. And then I'm like, my ancestors are from here. My parents are buried right across from my kitchen. I'm staying here. And the second you make that decision in your head, like, I don't care what happens to America, I will be here, it totally changes your attitude. You're like, I don't even care, it's my country. And they've been here for so long and fought in all of these wars. My ancestors, and I'm sure yours, would be totally shocked by some of the conversations. Foreign flags in the Congress? Are you joking? Get out. And so, no, once you decide you're all in on your country, it really changes the way you approach everything. And by the way, it should be the baseline requirement. You shouldn't be allowed to serve in government if you're not a U.S. citizen. Or you're a dual citizen? Are you joking? Of course not. And I would love to...
Dude, the Charlie Kirk's donors probably were giving him an earful after... Is it a bunch of big noses and small hats walking out? I haven't been looking.
What the justification...
Jared from Subway.
Which is why they're...
He does look like Jared.
You off as some sort of like freak. Some internet freak, hater, Nazi, whatever. I'm not. Just an American who loves my country, and I think it's fair to demand that the people running my country love it every bit as much as I do.
Wow. What if everybody started talking like that? That's like the way it's always should have been. So here's this big Jewish account says, Israel refuses to say whether Epstein worked for Mossad. Naftali Bennett, Epstein did not work for Mossad. Enough of the slander and lies. He's threatening me.
Did this happen? And of course that question...
Okay, here's what Naftali Bennett says. As a former prime minister with the Mossad having reported directly to me, I can say to you with 100% certainty, the accusation that Epstein somehow worked for Israel or the Mossad running a blackmail ring is categorically and totally false. Epstein's conduct, both the criminal and the merely despicable, had nothing whatsoever to do with the Mossad or the state of Israel. Epstein never worked for Mossad. This accusation is a lie being... What if it's like, okay, Wexner worked for Mossad and he hired Epstein, but he didn't technically work for Mossad? What if it's that? And this is their way of just acting like we're telling the truth. This accusation is it was Ghislaine Maxwell that was working, not Epstein, technically. He didn't have the name badge. He didn't have the ID number. This accusation is a lie being peddled by prominent online personalities such as Carlson, pretending they know things they don't. They just make things up, say it with confidence, and these lies stick because it's Israel. There's a vicious wave of slander and lies against my country and my people, and we just won't take it anymore. 20,000 likes. Josh Lamer, the Jewish guy that works for Newsweek and used to work for Daily Wire, that says that European DNA, that hating Jews is in European DNA. Let's hear his take on the Epstein discussion.
Is Israel influencing American politics? So I'm going to start with Josh, and then we'll go back to Dave. You say Israel is an ally. Spend a minute on that, and then address how some people have concerns that Israel is influenced in the U.S. government, and then I'll allow Dave to have some time. Josh.
All right, there's multiple reasons why Israel is an ally. First and foremost, I think most people in this room are believers of some stripe, right? I am Jewish. Most of you are probably Christian.
We all believe in the Bible, right, Goy? Okay, he's starting there. Hey, give us your pitch on why we should all be supporters of Israel. Well, you all believe in your Bibles, right? You're all Christian. You believe in the covenant. You worship Yahweh. You believe in the prophecies of the nation of priests. Of course, that's how he starts, because that's their main mechanism of control. The religious Judeo-matrix mind control.
Are believers of some stripe, right? I am Jewish. Most reasons why Israel is an ally. First and foremost, I think most people in this room are believers of some stripe, right? I am Jewish. Most of you are probably Christians, and God bless you for that. If you have any attachment whatsoever to the holy sites,
Anonymous sent $10. I've sent you an email with a debate proposition. I hope you'll check it out, should be great. I'm a long-time listener, thank you for your work. Ivona.
Thank you, Ivona. I'll take a look for that email. A debate proposal with you? I'll look for it. Ivona.
Any attachment whatsoever to this narrow strip of land between the river and the sea, as the Hamas propagandists call it, then you're going to have some reason to care about this particular sliver of land. That's point number one. Let's just kind of get it out there, especially if you understand that we in Western civilization are fundamentally at war with barbarism, barbarism being best represented by the Islamists.
They always give this lie. Oh, you got to go fight the Islam because they hate the West. They hate your freedom. Dude, we've seen, how can they get up here and lie and be like, we're allies, greatest allies defending the West, when we've got hours of rabbis talking about how they want to see the West destroyed? How do they square that? The level of gaslighting, if you've seen these rabbi clips of them talking about Europe, America, the West, Edom, and then to hear this, it's just like, I feel like I'm just, like they're knowingly lying about this. It's even more insidious because he knows about the Edom stuff.
At war with barbarism, that we in Western civilization are fundamentally at war with barbarism, barbarism being best represented by the Islamists and Sharia supremacists. When you understand the Western civilization.
No, the rabbis want the West to be at war with Islam. That's what it is.
Really just is the Bible. There is a special calling to have an ally with a certain part of the Middle East. That's point one.
Wow. Hey, Bible believers, there's a calling. You're called to support the Jews in the Middle East.
Special calling to have an ally with a certain part of the Middle East. That's point one.
You have a calling to ally and support the Jews, Christians. What they always want to say. Here he is again. Addressing to Dave Smith.
Good news is that while no one should be afraid of debate, and this debate is a nice thing here, the MAGA movement is actually quite unified. Believe it or not, all the talk to the contrary when it comes to these issues. An overwhelming majority of self-identified MAGA Republicans support close U.S.-Israel relations. According to a CBS News poll,
most right-wingers are pro-Israel, although that consensus is changing a little bit. But not that it's going to change enough to flip and for the Republicans to all be anti-Semitic all of a sudden.
After the recent Operation Midnight Hammer B-2 bombers in Iran, 94% of self-identified MAGA Republicans supported President Trump's dropping those B-2 bombs on Fort Natanz and the other Iranian facilities there. This is a wildly popular policy there. What did Dave Smith say about this? He re-upped his now years-long crusade to call for Donald Trump's impeachment. Y'all probably don't know that about Dave Smith, do you? He's now called for Donald Trump to be impeached multiple times. But Dave, look, I don't like when people misquote me either. You probably don't like when people misquote you. So I actually have a little bit of a highlight reel here of Dave Smith's tweets over the years. Dave Smith.
I was going to ask if you guys thought he sounded gay, but then I saw this. He's married, apparently. He's got a Dua Lipa lookalike
on Rumble. That exposed the enemy video about Trump was really great. Really breaks down the Jerome Corsi / Alex Jones QAnon MAGA psyop to solely blame Muslim Obama and the Islamists to stoke support for Trump.
Yeah, wasn't that good? All that old footage and the way he lays it all out. It's like such a good video. In fact, that exposed the enemy John Swin video, I think I'm going to do one of these days soon. I'm going to do a live stream where I just play that video and then a couple of his other best videos and call it like Trump's Zionist Intel Network or something. Yeah, for sure. That was a good one.
March 19th, 2024. Donald Trump is responsible for around 500,000 deaths in Yemen, and between the weapons to Ukraine and the Abraham Accords Jerusalem embassy, he is at least partially responsible for the two worst humanitarian crises in the world. He's a war criminal who should spend his life in prison. He is calling Donald Trump a war criminal who should spend his life in prison. You should be livid at that. I am livid at that as a Trump supporter. Donald Trump, Dave Smith, June 16, 2025. Trump allegedly had full prior knowledge of Israel's attacks and gave it his blessing while pretending to be negotiating with the Iranians as a cover. If this is true, Trump is the most impotent bitch of a leader imaginable. He's calling our president, the greatest president in my lifetime, an impotent bitch. Are you kidding me? June
kidding me?
21st, 2025,
Let's
Donald
not
Trump
boo-
has
let's
now
not boo
launched
someone who
an illegal
decided to
war of
spend time.
aggression
Keep going,
against
Joe.
Iran. The risk of an absolute catastrophe is very high, and the benefits are non-existent. Dave Smith, June 21st.
Yeah, Dave Smith has always been an anti-war guy. He used to be critical of Trump, but then when it really mattered, he got everybody at the Libertarian Convention to get behind Trump. And he helped Trump get elected. No, and we knew Trump would do this, and this would happen. And now he's like, sorry, I was wrong, and now he's trying to walk it back. See through it all, says, my Jewish president's under attack, oy vey. I caught a little bit of that, yeah. Yeah, the Christians, the anti-Christian message is reverberating across the internet. The Christians are in total panic mode. All of their copes are intensifying. The slander and attacks are intensifying. The dirty tricks and bad faith framing are escalating. It's beautiful.
Dead wrong. This notion that World War III would start, not a single American casualty. We should be celebrating that. Donald Trump fulfilled multiple campaign promises. The escalator speech in 2015 at Trump Tower, he literally said, I'm not going to let Iran get a nuclear weapon. And guess what? He said, I oppose a neoconservative foreign policy. He did both of those things with Iran. He deprived the Iranian regime of a nuclear weapon while not losing a single American sailor, soldier, or Marine while depriving them of nuclear weapons. And finally, Charlie, I'll end on this. Dave Smith, July 8th, 2025. In the last month, Donald Trump has launched a war of aggression on behalf of a foreign government, exploded the debt, announced that he's continuing the Biden policy of arming Ukraine, and covered up a giant child rape operation. So according to my interlocutor, Donald Trump is not just engaging in wars on behalf of a foreign government, he is also covering up the world's giant pedophilic child sex trafficking ring, allegedly, I presume, on behalf of a foreign government as well. So I'm disgusted, frankly, that this man is on stage, but I'll end it at that.
Okay, well, got it. So,
oh, he was on stage when that happened. Wow, I want to see his response to that. That's funny. Wow, the fatigue is real.
Good news is
Greg Gutfield is coping. Let's hear what he has to say.
Party. This is a movement that is so transparent that even their cover-ups are transparent. They're not even trying. It's
Thank you, Optics Prime.
like everything that you've seen is one collective wink. It's like, dude, yeah, we get it. You know, Epstein was probably a honeypot operation, but it's like a CIA thing. You know, it sucks. But
CIA thing, huh? No mention of Mossad, just CIA. Okay. Come on, bro. Everybody else is doing it, and you're going to cuck and say it's CIA, no mention of Israel. Come on.
the way I look at it is that, again, with the Christmas analogy, you got everything you wanted. You're not going to get everything, but you're going to get to see how it's made. And
you were promised Epstein for Christmas, but you're not getting Epstein for Christmas. You were promised no wars with Iran. Well, now you're bombing Iran, and there's way more likely the chance of war. You were promised the end of the war in Ukraine and Russia. Well, he's heavily arming Ukraine some more. You just don't get everything you get for Christmas. Israel gets everything. Israel gets everything they want, but not the Trump supporters.
Know what's going on? You may not know who's stopping that, but what's important for you to know is right now the Democrats, this is all they have. All of a sudden CNN is now covering Epstein. Didn't do it before. And you'll start seeing these like liberal alignments because they want to.
Hold on. Is that even true? CNN never covered Epstein at all? Come on. I highly doubt that.
They want the fractions. They want people to break apart.
Oh, they're just being divisive. Hey, these people that are mad about Epstein, they're being divisive. That's the non-argument trick that the Christians are trying to use against us right now. Oh, it's being divisive. Yeah, they're begging for mercy because they're losing the argument. And they're in the bargaining stage of their stages of grief.
Give them that. So even when there's certain things that are happening that are upsetting to you, you have to step back, look at the big picture. Don't lose sight of the changes that you're experiencing.
Mm-hmm. Netanyahu on growing anti-Semitic sentiments of people in the U.S. and abroad.
Let me ask you this. You see, as the prime minister of the only Jewish state, what's going on in Europe with anti-Semitism. It's going on in the United States.
It's going on in Edom.
You see certain political parties.
Europe in the United States, the rise in anti-Semitism in Edom. Can it get any more apparent? Specifically naming Europe and America.
Optics Prime sent $5. Christos Kukis, a brain-dead species of Christian zealots who believe everything in the Jewish Bible is real.
They get so sad. That's the other thing. Oh, you call us names. You're calling us names. You're so mean. We never attacked anybody. We just want to get along. Bullshit. All the lies and slander from Christians and all the bad faith copes. Oh, you guys never called any names. You guys never called me a name, huh? Acting like little bit. You're so mean. You hate us. You're calling us names. It's getting kind of pathetic.
Overseas that are actually embracing aspects of this. You see countries that are turning on the Jews, turning on Israel, trying to get you prosecuted and thrown in prison and things of this sort.
Oh, wait, it's anti-Semitic now? The Jews trying to say that he did corruption, that they're anti-Semitic too?
Give us what goes through your mind when you see this.
Our alliance with America, there's a roar that is heard around the earth. That's what's happening now. Now, does that fight back the anti-Semites? In a way, yes, because anti-Semitism targets the Jews because they're prominent, but weak. Well, we're not weak. And the world has been habituated to the Jew as a victim, perfect victim, during our centuries of wandering.
The perfect
Toa's
victim.
Garden sent $13 on Rumble. At Toa's Garden at Toa's Garden.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Toa's Garden.
We were massacred.
Levin, my trusted source on the JQ. Here's the victimhood sound. So when Christians are like, you killed God and you're cursed and you worship the devil and you drink baby blood and you're fake Jews, they get to go, oh, we've always been persecuted by these evil Christians. Look at these evil bigots. These religious bigots hating us for no reason. And then they have their sob story and everybody has sympathy for them. And all the Christians and the Muslims and the non-believers feel empathetic and they sympathize and they want to defend them. This is the game. The perfect victim. The greatest victims of all time.
And the world has been anti-Semitism targets the Jews because they're prominent, but weak. Well, we're not weak. And the world has been habituated to the Jew as a victim, perfect victim. During our centuries of wandering, we were massacred, pogromed, expelled and exiled.
So now they're talking about Edom, Europe, and America, and now he's talking about listen, this is their religion in Kabbalah, the rabbis. They're in the Galut Edom, the exile of Edom, being pogromed and persecuted and all of these things, the whole story. Yeah, right. Josh Hammer, who said anti-Semitism is inherent in our DNA. Like the rabbis say, Esau hates Jacob like a law of nature. All this narrative right now and this rise in the Christian-Muslim alliance anti-Semitism is all playing right into their biblical script. This is why they have so much confidence that it's all going according to God's plan, their biblical prophecy plan, is because the opposition is led by Christians and Muslims that are playing their role and being the opposition according to the script.
And finally burnt in the ovens of Auschwitz. So the world got used to us as a perfect victim. Now they have to get used to us as an equal among the nations, and we will not be slaughtered again. And the social media that is falsifying this, why should we not be on that battlefield as well?
Oh, we know you are. Oh, we know you're on the battlefield. We'd heard of the JIDF. We've heard of the Hasbro. We heard of the Unit 8200. We've heard of the NSO Group and Psi Group and Cambridge Analytica and all of the Israeli Hasbara Unit 8200 networks doing the propaganda and the ADL doing the censoring. Oh, why should we not be on the battlefield? They are, clearly. Like Naftali Bennett, the guy that just denied the Epstein thing. Remember the old video of him saying, we're working with Wikipedia to edit it and make it Zionist in nature.
That is falsifying this. Why should we not be on that battlefield as well?
And the Christians become the villains, falsifying shit and having their accusations be stupid and wrong for the most part, at least some of the main ones, the religious ones. And this is the game. This is how they get away with it. This is the key to their power. This is how Christians and Muslims and their talking points are only delegitimizing real opposition.
Why should we abrogate? We've long abrogated this battlefield, but I intend to change that. I'm not going to let these lies continue unchallenged. And just as they spread lies, we'll spread truth. But to the media, your colleagues, not all of them, but a lot of them. You know what I say? Shame on you. You should be ashamed of yourself. That's not journalism. That's not ethical. That's succumbing to the worst problem.
Now he's lecturing the American media. Not just social media, but the mainstream media also lecturing, as if they're not complicit in everything that's gone on for Israel.
Propaganda. It's like, oh well, we got some reports from Goebbels. He was the minister of disinformation for the Nazi regime, and that's what these are. These are neo-Nazis.
Isn't now everybody's a Nazi? Anybody that criticizes Israel at all is a Nazi. That's how he ends it, huh?
Nazi regime, and that's what these are. These are neo-Nazis.
They get to call everybody else names. They get to call everybody else propaganda. But if you say anything about that they do propaganda, that's an anti-Semitic trope. Playing the victim until world domination, like that. The victim card works, guys. Have you not figured that out? Are Christians not taught to sympathize so strongly with the victim too, and the underdog? Shame. Israel's eighth front is disinformation.
Disinformation campaign this is the eighth front. The disinformation campaign is among us, it takes a second for a lie to circulate the world, and then you have to battle it with the only weapon you have, which is the truth. And truth is slower than lies and more difficult to ascertain.
Netanyahu, the truth warrior.
Because you have to get the facts. When you lie, you can say anything, and it's instantaneous. When you tell the truth, you have to ascertain the facts, and until you do that, in the electronic age, boy, that lie could encircle the earth, 1,000 times. So it's a handicap, but we'll fight the information war too. Basically, you have the weapon of truth. We just have to be more efficient at disclaiming this, and I think we have to shame the media that does this. I mean, I know you're sort of tepid.
Is he shaming his buddy Elon Musk? When you lie, you can say anything, some liar. Yeah. I love how it's like the attitude is everybody else just hates them for no reason. They're all evil liars, but they all do propaganda. They're all Nazis, but you've never done anything, and everybody hates you for no reason, and you're just chosen and meant to conquer the Holy Land and rule the world with your Messiah and destroy Edom, and everybody just hates you for no reason. And guys, this is the shtick, and it works. It's been working. It's still working. And who enables it and allows it to work is the discrediting opposition of the Christians. I'm telling you. They're the great analogy, I think it was Needmore Amalek, who I saw in the chat earlier, says it's like the Jews and the Zionists are the Harlem Globetrotters, and these coping delusional e-crusaders on the internet, these Christian Muslim Alliance people on the internet, are the Washington Generals just getting dunked on left and right. Okay, that's how it plays out.
You should continue with your passion to speak for the truth and to shame those who spread the lies. I don't see any other solution. Do you?
No.
This is so great. Oh, hold on. Actually, Netanyahu, I got something for you, okay?
You sit on a throne of lies.
Perfect soundbite, right?
You sit on a throne of lies.
Sits on a throne of lies, calling everybody else liars. God, could you imagine if I missed that one? It would have been awful. Okay. Oh, Zionist Cuck.
Zionist Cuck sent $5 on Rumble. You can find the phone call from the Don himself that I made into a song. Adam, Hail Votan.
Thank you, Zionist Cuck. Can you drop that in the Rumble so I can find it, share it? Drop it in the Rumble right now. I'll try to keep an eye out for it. Appreciate the support, buddy. Okay, so remember the other day, this was the 12th, so 2 days ago, he's just tweeting about Epstein over and over again, totally not looking sus. He says, "What's going on with my boys and my gals? They're all going after Pam Bondi, who is doing a fantastic job. We're on one team, MAGA. It's MEGA. We're on one team, it's MEGA only. And don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration." Perfect? The talk of the world and selfish people are trying to hurt it all over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. People are trying to cope that like he's secretly revealing that Epstein's still alive. No, he's saying that nobody ever stops talking about him. That's obviously what he's saying. Selfish. You're just selfish if you demand answers for them promising to release the files and then now claiming there's nothing there. He says, "Let's not waste time and energy on Jeffrey Epstein, somebody that nobody cares about. Literally everybody in your administration, all the people you appointed, Bongino, Kash Patel, all the MAGA people have been talking about Epstein for years, and the Alex Joneses, and then now he says, nobody cares about it. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about the Mossad-connected pedophile that Trump was best close friends with for 10 years. Nobody cares. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Thanks for the memo, Trump." He's like, "Hey, memo, America, stop talking about Epstein. Okay, thanks. Thanks for your attention to this matter. Memo closed." And then now he follows up with another tweet about Epstein, now claiming it's a Democrat conspiracy and you're a leftist and you have Trump derangement syndrome if you're talking about Epstein. Oh, wait, this is the same one. Just a different section of it. Oh, yeah, he says, why are we giving publicity to files written by Obama, Hillary, Comey, Brennan? So he's trying to rope this in with Russiagate and act like this is some conspiracy against him. Hello? Epstein was arrested when you were president. He either escaped or died or was killed or whatever happened under your watch. It was your FBI and intelligence services that should have done the investigation into Epstein and showed what was really behind it. You don't get to blame this on the Democrats now. Alex Jones is trying this too. He says they created the Epstein files. See, Epstein files aren't even a thing. It's just a Democrat anti-Trump witch hunt conspiracy now. And he says, why didn't these radical left lunatics release the Epstein files? Well, if they doctored them and manufactured and fabricated them, why didn't they release them? If they were going to fabricate and fake this investigation, Why did they not come out with it and implicate Trump and your people? Okay. And maybe they didn't release anything because they're also implicated as well, which we know they are, especially the Clintons. So come on. He says, if there was anything in there that could have hurt the MAGA movement, why didn't they use it? So he's claiming that they fabricated it and they created the Epstein files, but then he's saying, if there's anything in there, why didn't they use it? You can't have both. And why didn't they use it? Because they're implicated too. Both sides are blackmailed. How is he asking such stupid questions? Even Elon Musk says Trump said Epstein half a dozen times while telling everyone to stop talking about Epstein. Just release the files as promised. Apparently his approval rating is going down and it's causing a big stir. His propagandists are scurrying around trying to suppress this and shut it down. He's asking stupid questions because they work on his stupid base. Well, I am seeing all of his surrogates regurgitate all of these talking points, like Alex Jones, who now says that the Democrats have doctored the Epstein list. Hey, when Epstein got arrested and then died under Trump's first term, where was the investigation to show that Trump had nothing to do with it and it was all the Democrats? Why didn't that come out, Alex? And Alex is still sweeping for Zion Don till the end.
Of false documents. As you know, I just call balls and strikes.
Oh, yeah, that's what I know. That's how you know you're about to be sold some bullshit. As you know, I'm always just calling it like it is. I'm not a total Trump cheerleader and sycophant. An apologist.
As you know, I just call balls and strikes. And after years of saying they will release the Epstein file or list, suddenly they're not going to, and we're told it doesn't exist. But then Trump comes out last night and says, well, it does exist, but the Democrats had control of it, manipulated it, which is actually true. They've had control, but they would destroy anything they didn't want in there and leave what they wanted in there that their investigators could plant. So people say, well, then whose side are you on? This is a giant fiasco. I'm trying to call balls and strikes. I'm trying to look at every angle of this and understand what's happening, understand why the Trump administration.
Oh, I'm just looking at every angle. He's like shoveling you the bullshit QAnon cope and sweeping for Trump now, not exposing anything and covering up for the Epstein blackmail ring that he's a part of. And then I'm just calling balls and strikes. I'm just telling it like it is. I'm just covering every angle. You're fucking top high level Zionist propaganda agent is what you are.
Brother BD sent $5 on Rumble. I sent the Office Space Trump Epstein meme to your XDMs.
I'll check. 180 the last few months, and particularly the last week, and did this, and then blames loyal supporters that support the overall agenda as being traitorous for doing this. Now, we all know what triggered this. It was Elon 2 months ago saying, look, Trump's in the list, and that big breakup there, and then Trump wants it closed. He wants it shut down, which looks extremely, extremely incriminating. But from all of my deep research, never saw Trump involved in any illegal activity with Jeffrey Epstein. So,
I've never seen any evidence that there was any illegal activity with Trump. You think that if it were the Clintons in the situation of Trump, where Epstein said they were close, Epstein said Trump was his closest friend for 10 years. Maria Farmer, the first victim of Epstein to go to the FBI that we know of, implicated and named Trump, Dershowitz, and Epstein and Maxwell. Trump is the biggest Israel pawn and slave, and you're not going to connect those dots and say, hey, maybe he's blackmailed? I got an old clip of Jones where he says, we know Israel's the king of blackmail. But, they don't have Trump blackmailed, though. That's why he's calling for Netanyahu's corruption case to be dropped, which you also swept for when it first happened. There's a globalist coup against Netanyahu. You did the same thing. And bombing Iran for Israel. And all of it. Like, that's what's so sus about Nick, too, is Alex Jones has been like the career Zionist apologist. And then he's giving such a boost to Fuentes. Expose the Enemy is here. He says, deep research. The only thing deep is Jones' head up Trump's ass. Exactly. Oh, I don't see any. I don't see anything linking Trump to Epstein. Trump blackmailed by Israel? Why would anybody say that? I can't see anything. Kidding me?
But from all of my deep research, never saw Trump involved in any illegal activity with Jeffrey Epstein. So we are simply here.
Epstein invested $40 million in Palantir that Trump is now bringing into our government, even more so.
Tracking this case, not choosing a side, not wanting to make things be what we want them to be, but simply looking at the facts.
Oh, you just want Trump to be involved. It's a you problem. Look at this, by the way, too. Oh, where is it? Okay, we'll back it up, actually.
But I dropped the ball. I didn't even think about the fact. I'm like, oh, yeah, if they've had the list and they've had the files for years, the Democrats would take stuff out, destroy it. Well, that's obvious. They would leave in and twist and put in what they wanted. They have a long history of false documents, reports, Crossfire Hurricane, the list goes on.
Dude, this is such a sweep.
So we've got to investigate this. We've got to keep open minds about this on all angles. But this is the big story. And this has put the Trump administration into a mega massive crisis.
Thank you, Expose the Enemy says, Peter Thiel and Epstein both massively invested in Carbine with Ehud Barak, the former prime minister of Israel. Right. Thank you.
And Trump at press conferences and the rest of it saying, don't ask questions, triggers the ultimate Streisand effect and is insane. So I don't know where in the world they're coming up with that plan. We'll continue to track this in live time. We'll cover the good Trump's doing. We'll cover the bad he's doing to give Trump our ongoing advice.
We'll cover all the good and focus on the good and sweep for the bad and tell you not to worry about the bad and that the Democrats corrupted the bad and Trump can do no wrong and he's only got bad people around him. And come on.
So I'm going to post a video later, do a live show today at 4 p.m. Central, breaking down what I think Trump needs to do to get things back on track. And that's release everything. That's why Steve Bannon wants to
sent $5 on Rumble. The Israel is the king of blackmail quote in an interview with Michael Collins Piper. And literally shortly after he was going around radio stations in Austin telling them not to platform MCP. Snake.
Right. I'm going to look for that right now. Hopefully I'll find it.
Things back on track. And that's release everything. That's why Steve Bannon wants it released.
Oh, Steve Bannon wants it released. I mean, he's in the Epstein files too, probably. And he's got like 20 hours of video interview with Epstein and hasn't released any of it. But yeah, he's calling for it all to be released. Come on.
When interviewed Epstein, he knew him. Nothing to hide.
Nothing to hide, but he's been hiding all the footage.
I got Alan Dershowitz saying, release it all. Doesn't incriminate me. Okay, well, then release the whole thing. This is not going away.
Yeah, Dershowitz also saying that they're covering up the big names that are on there. Big names covering up the big names that are on there.
It's only blown up 10 times bigger. It's out of control. And this was so obvious a week ago. People said, oh, you're being a traitor.
Yeah, and it's easy for Dershowitz to call for it to be released. No, when he knows that it's going to be buried and it's not coming out.
It's be a big issue. No, I'm seasoned. I'm informed. I'm involved. I know what's going on.
Oh, I know. Trust me, guys. I know. I'm just calling balls and strikes.
It's insane.
There is no Epstein anymore. The Democrats corrupted it, so go back to sleep.
Infowars.com, Real Alex Jones on X.
Trump has nothing to do with the Epstein network. He never knew him. They were not close friends for 10 years. Trump is definitely not blackmailed. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, he is not blackmailed by Israel, okay?
What Israel's doing, we know that the king's of blackmail. We know Israel's the king of blackmail.
Sure, Donald Trump is connected to Zionists everywhere he looks, and he completely is just glazing and running cover for Israel at every move, and he seems totally blackmailed by Israel, but in Israel's the king's of blackmail, but just he's not blackmailed by Israel, though.
What Israel's doing, we know that the king's of blackmail.
This was his interview like 20 years ago with Michael Collins Piper.
What Israel's doing, we know that the king's of blackmail. We know Israel's the king of blackmail. We know they blackmail Congress and the president all the time. And right now I see their fingerprints all over this with the media and the FBI and all these people to bring pressure on them to push them into doing this. What Israel...
And what he was talking about was war with Iran. That's the... Oh, dude, if I have the full clip, because this is just a short little thing I did. The full clip... He was talking about them trying to pressure Congress to do a war with Iran. They're blackmailing Congress to get them to go to war with Iran. Trump does what they want with Iran, and then he's going to say he's not blackmailed and he has nothing to do with it. Amazing.
And all these people to bring pressure on them to push them into doing this. What Israel's doing, we know that the king's of blackmail. We know Israel's the king of blackmail.
Wow. All right, let's play the where'd that Zionist cuck video go? How's that for a clip? I don't know anybody else on earth that has that clip, by the way. Anybody else seen that clip anywhere? Expose the enemy? Oh, that's right. Expose the enemies here. I posted on Twitter, and John, I want to do a whole stream where I play this newest video and then some of your other QAnon and top videos. Like a marathon, expose the enemy marathon live stream one of these days. He's got a new video up here I watched over the weekend. Trump was always Israel first. The road, oh wait, that's the short version. These are shorter clips. Here it is. The road to bombing Iran, the Iran deal. This is such a good video by John Swin. Everybody go to Expose the Enemy, watch this video. And I'm going to play this and a bunch of his other top videos. One of the best researchers, some of the best information, connecting the QAnon psyop and all these Christian Zionists and tying in the Russia stuff. And it is open, shut case with this information. And Trump is as owned. The whole bombing, it's amazing to see how he lays out with all of the timetables and the different clips, and it's incredible. Okay. All right, that's right. Let's do this next Jones running cover. He's just doing video after video sweeping for Trump and echoing the talking point that it's the Democrats and all these different things.
That's what Trump said yesterday. I would give Trump an F in the last month on his handling of the Epstein case. Everything they've done has created a giant Streisand effect. That said, though, he made a point in a Truth Social post yesterday that the Epstein file has been controlled by the Democrats, and only what they want to be known is going to be in the file, just like Russiagate and all the other hoaxes. I had always pointed out that they could delete anything they didn't want to be seen, but what about adding things that they wanted to be seen? FBI reports, not any real evidence, but things that spin it. And that's what Trump said yesterday.
Okay, guys, if the Democrats meddled and tampered with the documents, we got the documents, then why didn't they release them then? Why didn't they go, look at these documents we got? Epstein and Trump. All the Republicans blackmailed. And they removed all the Democrats one. If they did that, then why didn't they do it? Come on.
So I'm not in the business of being an apologist for Trump.
Yes, you are. That is your business. Your whole business for the last 10 years has been an apologist for Trump. Yeah, I said that, John. The first 4 years of Trump's presidency, Trump was president when he was arrested, and they should have been doing investigations, and he was allowed to die or suicide or escape or whatever happened. That was all under his watch. If there weren't a bunch of Zionist cabal people all surrounding Trump in there, then why would he not release it then? If it was just the Clintons and the leftist, like Jones tried to claim when Epstein was arrested, he says it's the Chi-Coms and the Clintons and the globalists that are using this to blackmail us. This is so funny. I'm just calling balls and strikes. I'm not an apologist for Trump. I give it an F, but he could had no choice. He had to. And then the cope last week was, we played the clips. The cope last week for Trump was saying that he can't release it because it'll bring down the economy. Or he was saying he's not releasing it, but he's keeping it to himself. So he has the blackmail and he has leverage over the deep state now because he's keeping the info. That was the first cope. And now he's moved on to the new talking point.
It's not any real evidence, but things that spin it. And that's what Trump said yesterday. So I'm not in the business of being an apologist for Trump. I've been a major critic.
Getting mad and stomping your feet about bombing Syria, but then getting right back into the fold and shilling everything else he does, you are not a big critic. I just saw him with Laura Loomer the other day, and he's like, I'm loyal to Trump. I'm loyal. You're loyal. I'm loyal. Like, you're a full-time cheerleader, dude. Come on. You give a facade of criticizing him in this limited hangout, controlled opposition way.
But this has to be investigated. This has to be looked at very, very deeply. I did a big live stream.
Good. The Zionists will get right to it. They'll get right into investigating themselves some more. The Zionists who are covering up the scandal are going to investigate the cover-up and get to the bottom of it in no time, I'm sure, Jones.
Earlier today, that is very, very important. We're going to be going over more. And I want to respond to how Trump has fumbled this, but also want to respond to how I think he should handle it, all coming up here today. But this is a big deal. As Bannon said, we could lose 40 seats in the House with this fiasco. This continues. Because unlike the Democrats, we have morals and we don't become complicit in cover-ups. But is there a cover-up? What's happening? We're going to figure it all out together as we war game every single angle of it. Be sure to follow me on the next Alex Jones.
All right, now check this out. This is a treat. Flashback. The last time I talked to Alex Jones, when I called in 2019, 6 years ago, I called Jones a traitor to his face and called out Trump as a Zionist puppet back then. And he says, I barely think about Israel. Exactly.
Go ahead and go next to California and...
Okay.
Okay, let's go ahead and go next to California and Adam. Adam, thanks for calling and thanks for holding. You're on the air.
Alex, this is Adam with NoMoreNews.org. I've been one of your biggest fans for 10 years, and perfect topic today to talk about treason in China, because ever since the rise of Trump, I really studied it deep and realized that all the accusations and rumors about you being a Zionist apologist, propagandist are all right, and Trump is a completely a Zionist agent, owned by Adelson, AIPAC, ZOA, bailed out by the Rothschilds in the early 90s for billions of dollars with Wilbur Ross, who's now our Commerce Secretary. He got the top Zionist award in 1983 from the JNF, the Jewish National Fund, founded by Theodore Herzl. He's totally controlled by net.
And since then, since 2019, how many more Jewish awards has he got? Torah Crown, Prince of Peace, you name it. Top ZOA Theodore Herzl Award. And now he's bombing Iran for Israel, and he's running cover for Netanyahu's corruption scandal. He's covering up the Epstein files. Talk about vindication.
Netanyahu and Kushner. Trump donates to Kushner, who is Chabad. He donates to Chabad. They consider Christianity idolatry. That's who Trump supports. And you blaming everything on China, deflecting from who really is controlling and conquered this country is treason. George Washington would accuse you of being a traitor.
He was just talking, but the reason I brought up the George Washington thing is because he was just talking about George Washington and traitors before he went to my call.
And you should be ashamed of yourself for covering up for who really controls.
Okay, can I talk now, Adam?
That's how it's done, guys.
I barely think about Israel.
Well, maybe that's the problem. You're just obsessed with Israel. Every time you slip on a banana peel, you're just drinking Funyuns in your mom's basement. You just, he also said, you're just reading Nazi books. That's what he told me on this call. The rest of it.
And I've seen the mental illness.
Oh, you're just mentally ill. You're just mentally ill. Everything I said was true, and it only aged gracefully with even more vindication. But you're just mentally ill.
I barely think about Israel.
Israel's not a big deal. Why is everybody obsessed with Israel? Why does everybody keep talking about Israel?
Mental illness, people out there that say that I work for Israel or I get talking points from Israel. Israel is, again, a diverse group of people, different parties, just like the U.S., just like Russia.
Yeah, and you won't criticize the Likudnik, Netanyahu factions that are tied in with Trump. Oh, they're a diverse group of people. They're not a monolith. Like, what does that have to do with what I was saying?
I've been accused of working for Putin. I've been accused of working for the Vatican, Israel. I'm an American. I'm a Texan.
Yeah, you're a Zio Putin shill. Exactly. I'm an American.
Vatican, Israel. I'm an American. I'm a Texan that believes in the Bill of Rights and Constitution. I'm trying to create a big tent to bring everybody around Americana and stop all the racial and cultural.
We're just trying to have a big tent, all the Jews and all the Zionists and all the Latinos, as long as they believe in Christ, we're just all going to get together, worship the Messiah together, and have a big tent. And we're not going to criticize Israel. I know. What does any of this have to do with Donald Trump being a Zionist pawn? It's like he proved me right in his response.
Vision that the left is using, and I've seen the extreme left, like the four horsemen, Tlaib and...
Oh, if you criticize Israel, if you point out how much of a Zionist pawn Trump is, then you're just with the left. You're with the squad. What do you want, Kamala? That'll be the response.
AOC and, all those folks, Peanut Head from Somalia, whatever her name is.
All right, that's just the 2-minute version. You can find... I'll try to post the whole thing, maybe. Oh, by the way, Conspiracy Truther. He's one of our guys, right? He's got a big Instagram. He posted this, and it's got 9,000 likes on Instagram and 500,000 views, he said. How's that for a dunking on Jones? How did that age?
Okay, let's go ahead.
I have to show that one to Owen on Thursday. Get his thoughts on how that one panned out. Here's Zionist Cuck's new video, the Mashiach. Let's see this one.
I'm Israel's best friend, the greatest ally, believe me. Jerusalem is mine, it's the capital, you see. The wall, it's beautiful, it's strong, it's tall. Keeping out the terrorists, and the best of all. I love the Jews, they're smart and they're rich. Voting for me, they're in a ditch. Harris, she's weak, she's losing, she's a bitch. I'm the predictor, I'm number one. I won. Israel first, we're making it great. I'm the greatest leader, just wait and see. Wait, the Democrats cry, they're sad and they're mad. But I'm winning, I'm huge, and I'm certainly glad. Settlements expand and they're beautiful, they're right. Peace through strength, I'm the king of the fight. Netanyahu's my guy, he's tough and he's smart. We're making deals, we're winning, we are art. Iran deal, a terrible, disastrous mess. I tore it up, I'm the best, I confess. Jewish voters, wake up, don't be a fool. Cause I'm your man, I'll break every fucking rule.
Wow, that was not AI, right? That was all your accent, right? Nice job. Hard. Would you guys bump that? From our very own Zionist Cook. Here's Nemor Amalek's new video I see in the chat here. Rabbi Shmuley's got moves. This is weird. He's freaking out like he's humping the wall or something. Okay, I think the Adam King as Jesus ones are better. Oh, the Harlem Globetrotters. I get it. He's a Globetrotter. I just put it together. I didn't get it right away. Amalek? That's funny. That's a good...
I knew it was a joke, Mikas. I just didn't get it right away.
All right. Is that not the perfect soundbite for that? I get it. He's the Globetrotter dunking on the Christians. Good one. So here's Liz Crokin. She's the QAnon girl, Mike Flynn's girl that Ian Carroll gave a big shout out to on the Joe Rogan show. Here's her spin for the Trump thing where he says, stop talking about Epstein. She said, I'm pretty sure that Trump just confirmed that Epstein is not dead, and the Epstein files were written by hot dog boy Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and other satanic pedophile cabal players. Funny how they never thought about that when they were promising for years that they're going to release the files. Sounds like a bullshit excuse to me. So it's written by Obama, Hillary, and other satanic pedophile cabal players. Well, of course, that makes sense since the old FBI protected Epstein for decades. And of course, Hillary was behind the Epstein cover-up, considering she's the co-conspirator and ringleader. Well, if she was in the true files, why didn't Trump release him in his first term? How is nobody asking this obvious question? I mean, everybody is, pretty much, besides the brainwashed dupes. Right about now would be a good time for exposure on the other laptop from hell, Anthony Weiner. Oh, what aboutism? What about Anthony Weiner? Like, he already got disgraced and had his fall from grace. And Rachel Chandler, blah, blah. What about Anthony Weiner, though? What a cope. Look at this, too. 11,000 likes. Here she is claiming it's 5D chess. She literally calls it 5D chess. This was the cope they had last week. Oh, he's tricking the media to talk about Epstein. He's telling everybody to stop talking about it, but really that's getting everybody to talk about it. See, art of the deal. 5D chess. No, he's covering it up, and then now he's saying stop talking about it. And this...
Everyone's so mad, as they should be, that he said that. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, this is brilliant. Like, where has this anger been for the past decade? I have been so pissed, so frustrated, screaming at the top of my lungs, touring the country, giving speeches exposing Jeffrey Epstein. I have been so pissed and angry and riled up about.
And now your guy is covering it up and blackmailed by it.
This for years. And now I'm starting to see everyone else bring up that kind of energy. And now I'm thinking,
hold on. There's been so much talk about Epstein. She's acting like nobody ever heard about Epstein until Trump started saying, stop talking about Epstein. There's like Netflix documentaries and all we ever hear. It's like the number one story. It's all we ever hear about for the last 10 years, basically. And her cope is, well, now everybody's talking about it. They weren't before.
That was brilliant. That was brilliant. He is getting his base so fired up to demand justice. We're probably now going to see the mainstream media go crazy and say, oh, President Trump acts like Jeffrey Epstein isn't a big deal. He doesn't care. How horrible is this? Well, what a brilliant way, Hannah, to get the mainstream media to cover Jeffrey Epstein.
No, yeah, so brilliant. Now, if the media covers Epstein, they're going to say Trump is blackmailed by Epstein and covering it up. Brilliant. Brilliant 5D chess.
I mean, I kind of feel like we're seeing a little like classic President Trump kabuki theater 5D chess here. Everyone's
oh my God.
so mad.
They're still, the Q-tards are still doing it.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know that she's actually even a tard. She could be Mike Flynn, like intelligence asset, literally keeping everybody on the plantation and to capitulate and stop asking questions and to keep everybody retarded.
Sent $13 on Rumble. A Christian says to me Jesus was a Nazarene, of Galilee. He never said of himself he was Jewish, totally annihilated him. Someone else added their 2 cents Jesus, tribe of Judah, descendant of David.
In Matthew, when Jesus is born, it says he's born the King of the Jews. When he dies, he's called King of the Jews. The Samaritan woman calls him Jewish. You could be Jewish and born in Galilee, especially if you're descended from the King of Judah, which is Judean. So yeah, but that's typical of the desperate copes that we hear all the time. Here she is again, saying that Trump is now doing psychological warfare, guessing and keeping everybody on the run.
Looking at this situation and assuming that there was a cover-up is you're looking at it from like a 10,000 foot view. I'd like to go up higher and look at it from like a 30,000 foot view.
You're like, you guys are not high enough. You're only 10,000 feet. I like to get up to like 30,000, and then you can really see the genius of Trump and his 5D chess. And by covering up Epstein and telling everybody to stop talking about Epstein, he's actually exposing it.
Best regards and all the best.
Thank you. Best regards to you as well, Aswat. Appreciate it.
And what I see happening is, first of all,
remember, I mentioned Ian Carroll giving her a shout out for Pizzagate stuff on Joe Rogan. And what was Ian Carroll trying to tell us on Joe Rogan? I think Netanyahu and the Adelsons are doing a coup on Trump. No, it's Trump's doing a coup on Netanyahu. How'd that turn out? How'd that age? Trump's coup on Netanyahu, Ian Carroll, that you said on Rogan. Yeah. Have you guys tried covering Epstein on weed?
If they are going to prosecute, call them the clients, call them, the co-conspirators, call them Jeffrey Epstein's ring of pedophiles. What we know is that there were people that went to the island, went to his homes, that were good friends of Jeffrey Epstein, that he invited, that raped women and children. Okay, we know that for a fact. If President Trump's DOJ is going to prosecute those people based off of the current FBI's investigation, they are not going to release evidence that's going to hurt those cases right now. So what I think is happening right now is I think that what we're seeing is a lot of kabuki theater that is very strategic to keep the people that were involved in this ring guessing and on the run. That's what I think is really
Hey guys, it sure looks like Trump's blackmailed and covering up the Epstein ring and the Zionist cabal, but he's actually got him on the run.
Subi49 sent $10 on Rumble. Great show, AG. Here's a couple of shekels.
Thank you, Paper Jesus. Have to have you on soon, bro. And guys, check out Paper Jesus. He's back and he's been doing his own podcasts and stuff. Follow him as well.
Going on. I think that there's a lot of psychological warfare happening.
Yeah, you and Alex Jones and Mike Flynn are the psychological warfare. QAnon is the psychological warfare. Liz Crokin, she's a huge Putin-Russia shill, by the way. Look at this one. Here's an old one I covered. She covers Roseanne.
Thought and Conduct says $7. How can anything be considered a win in politics or culture when the government itself is under blackmail?
And when they're all worshiping the Jewish God?
Not just the dogs and the cats.
We don't need to watch this. Do we have more Liz Crokin? Oh, here's the other. The Q-tard Trump shill network, like David Nino Rodriguez, has on this total Khazarian mafia. Trump's a double agent. The biggest disinfo peddlers on the internet, like this guy, Benjamin Fulford. Let's hear his disinfo take on Trump and Epstein.
Documents. Netanyahu is a war criminal.
Zorndaridem sent $5 top form today, Adam. Great coverage. Loving it. The 5D chess, yeah, so exciting.
Dude, the 5D chess copes are back and stronger than ever. Saving Israel for last. That's what Trump's still doing, guys. Saving Israel for last.
Netanyahu is a war criminal, et cetera, et cetera. And then suddenly, 180. Oh yeah, and we're not going to attack Iran. And suddenly we have.
And he's supplying Ukraine with weapons.
He's supplying Ukraine with weapons. He's suddenly, kissing Netanyahu's ass. He's.
Did you say suddenly kissing his ass? Like he hasn't been doing it all along? Are you kidding me?
Doing the opposite, and then he's going to a NATO meeting saying, "Yeah, we're going to fight Russia for NATO," and it's like a completely different plot that he's reading. It's like you have this Game of Thrones type moment where everything suddenly changes, and you get a whole new set of people in charge. There's no doubt about it. But here's the thing. Okay, here's what I've been paying attention to is that my sources keep telling me that French President Macron.
Parisia Times sent $5 on Rumble. Get your shekels in, guys. The goal must be reached to keep the show running.
Very true. Very true. Help us meet the goal. We're coming up on 2 hours. Still close, but not there yet. I'm sure you guys got it. We got a big show coming tomorrow. Big shows all week. Tons of stuff to cover. A lot of stacking a lot of W's. Having a lot of vindication.
Who's cross-dressing as Brigitte Macron. Now, that sounds way out there, but last week, a French court in Paris ruled that Brigitte Macron was a man. Okay, this is an official court, going through official documents. What happened was these two French journalists who put out a very detailed dossier explaining why
Habs 93 sent $10.
Thank you, Habs.
Shekels in. Been working and listening to you.
Awesome. Happy to be in your ear while you're at work. Very pleased to hear it.
Was a man.
I'll give you some MSMR. Benjamin full of shit for yeah.
Very extensive evidence. They were attacked, they were sued, and they won in court because they could prove the facts. And this is important because it's not something on the internet. It's an official court. And what I was told is that this is going to lead to regime change in France in the autumn, possibly into early next year.
I thought this was going to be about Trump.
Everybody underneath that, including the new fake Trump, Keir Starmer in the UK,
there it is.
In Germany.
The new fake Trump. So Trump is fake. He's got a mask on. It's a clone. Is that really the type of shit that we're talking about here? This is what all the Q people were saying. Oh, Biden's a fake. It's a clone. He's not really in charge. Trump's still the president. That's these people. And there's not just like one kook. This is a strong narrative on the fringes of the internet with these psychos.
They're all going to fall. The dominoes are going to fall. That's what I mean.
Yeah, the old Trump was good, but the new clone fake Trump, yeah, he's no good. That's the levels of cope that we're having.
Do you think it's a double, a Trump double? Or are you saying he's been replaced completely? Because if he's been replaced completely, that means he was probably taken out or assassinated.
Well, what I've been told is that the Trump that the MAGA people elected, the 6'3" tall one who always appears with Melania, had to flee Washington, D.C. because of the change in the security system, and he's in that Pitufik Air Base in Greenland. So supposedly we still have the real Trump at a U.S. Space Force base. I mean, this is what I'm telling. My sources are telling me. But if
my sources. Hey guys, I got some sources, and actually Donald Trump's on the moon having lunch with Hitler and the reptilians. Actually, the real Trump is down in Antarctica at the secret Nazi bases, and he's colluding to take out what is he called? The Japanese dragon, Chi-Com, Khazarian mafia. He's actually got him right where he wants him. My sources have My credible sources have told me that Donald Trump's in Antarctica with the reincarnation of Hitler and the reptilians, and they're plotting there to take out the deep state cabal.
You look at everything that the current Trump we're seeing on our screens does and says, it doesn't make sense. Another thing that...
And by the way, guys, this guy, Benjamin Fulford, like where he gets posted around the internet, gets more views than I do. And he's only one of many. There's like Charlie Ward and Simon Parks and Liz Crokins and all, so many of these people, complete psychos out of their minds, or intel disinformation agents to keep everybody retarded. David Nino Rodriguez, somebody tried to get me in contact with him so he'd have me on the show. He goes, sorry, he's a Christian. He doesn't want to offend the Christians. Can't even talk about, everything's a conspiracy, but can't question the King of the Jews and the Bible. But he, of course, bring on this kook to talk about Trump's secretly in Greenland and there's a clone. Come on. How did this age?
I'm trying to figure out. I'm fine with all the other lists. As long as I'm not on the Epstein list, we're good, right? Speaking of which, how is it that my father can be convicted of 34 crimes, but no one on Epstein's list has even been brought to light? I'm trying to figure out how that's possible, right, folks? It's almost like they're trying to protect those pedophiles for some reason. I can't imagine why, right?
It's almost like you're protecting them now. An important message from the president. What is this big tech video?
What's going on? What's going on with my boys? And in some cases, gals.
This is his tweet.
Attorney General Pam Bondi.
Dude, is this dashboard confessionals? Need more Amalek?
Who's doing
big tech?
A fantastic job. We're on one team, MAGA, and I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration.
Emo Trump?
The talk of the world. Selfish people are trying to hurt it. All over a guy who never died.
Dude, this is so good. Donald Trump is a emo in an emo rock band. He is getting a little emo in here. Oh, the internet was clowning on secondhand suicide. That's a funny name.
Jeffrey Epstein, for years it's Epstein. Over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Obama, Crooked Hillary, Cummy Brennan, and the losers and criminals of the Biden administration? Who conned the world with the Russia hoax, 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, and more? They created the Epstein files, just like they created the fake Hillary Clinton, Christopher Steele.ca that they used on me. And now my so-called friends are playing right into their hands. Why didn't these radical left lunatics release the Epstein files? If there was anything in there that could have hurt the MAGA movement, why didn't they use it? They haven't even given up on the John F. Kennedy or Martin Luther King Jr. files. No matter how much success we have had, securing the border, deporting criminals, fixing the economy, energy dominance, a safer world where Iran will not have nuclear weapons. It's never enough for some people. We are to achieve more in 6 months than any other administration has achieved in over 100 years. And we have so much more to do. We are saving our country and making America great again, which will continue to be our complete priority. The left is imploding. Cash Patel and the FBI must be focused on investigating voter fraud, political corruption, act blue, the rigged and stolen election of 2020, and arresting thugs and criminals instead of spending month after month looking at nothing but the same old radical left inspired documents on Jeffrey Epstein. Let Pam Bondi do her job, she's great. The The 2020 election was rigged and stolen, and they tried to do the same thing in 2024.
You know, that's going to be the narrative for when they justify a third term for Trump.
That's what she is looking into as AG and much more.
Dude, the AI music is getting so good. Like, musicians are going to be replaced. AI is just going to be coming out with endless new songs sounding exactly like singers you already know, singing even better than they could in perfect tune. Auto-tune built in from scratch. It's amazing. Maxwell apparently is claiming that if she gets out, I'm seeing reported as well that Trump had talks about giving Ghislaine a pardon. Well, if there's no blackmail ring, what's she even doing in jail? She's claiming that she'll squeal too? She'll speak?
No, he didn't. I don't believe he did.
She doesn't believe Epstein killed himself? That's what she's saying, I think.
No, he didn't. I don't believe he did. I believe that he was murdered. Well, I'm shocked.
Murdered.
And I wondered how it had happened.
Epstein's brother was just on, I think, Piers Morgan saying he thinks Trump killed Epstein to silence him. Interesting that Epstein's lawyer was David Schoen, and that was also Trump's lawyer, and he's on the board of the Zionist Organization of America, David Schoen. That's pretty interesting.
Because as far as I was concerned, he was going to, I was sure he was going to appeal, and I was sure that he was covered under the non-prosecution agreement.
Yeah.
But I wasn't in the indictment.
The GOP blocked her from testifying, says the Drudge Report. I believe that. I believe they stopped her from testifying. Of course, she probably doesn't want to be in jail. She's probably willing to throw some people under the rug to get out. She's probably willing to talk.
So I wasn't mentioned. I wasn't even one of the co-conspirators. I believe that he was murdered.
She has no shame, she has no heart, she has no conscience.
For Virginia Giuffre and survivors like her, there is no disputing the facts. As the court found, Ghislaine Maxwell procured underage girls for Jeffrey Epstein. She groomed them, sexually abused and trafficked them. In many ways, some say, she was even worse than the despicable Epstein.
I don't mean to sound sexist in any way, shape, or form, but I expected it from a man, but I didn't expect it from a woman. And, yeah, I think that's...
She died a few months ago, right? Committed suicide, supposedly.
What do you make of Ghislaine Maxwell's decision to speak from jail like this?
It wasn't a surprise. It wasn't a surprise because it gives her still that feeling that she's in control, even behind bars. And I think she's doing it for attention.
Randy Kogan is a psychologist based in Florida's Palm Beach.
Okay, slow down so I can understand. Tell me what happened.
For years now, she's been treating women who, as girls, were abused by Epstein and Maxwell. Is she a monster?
I think in many ways she is. What Ghislaine did, she hunted, she preyed on these girls and procured them for sexual exploitation and sexual trafficking. That's a monster.
But from behind bars...
Hasn't there been claims that they set up Trump and his wife? Not Ivanka.
Maxwell is determined to present a selfless side as she discusses
Melania
with brother Kevin.
If you, when you win your appeal and get out of prison, do you think you'll be accepted again by the people who were once your friends?
Well, I can't know what my friends will do or won't do. I mean, my focus won't be on that. I will always turn to what I've now decided that will form the rest of my life, which is helping other people who are or have been incarcerated.
I just would like to thank you so much, and it's such an honor to be here.
Attaching herself to causes is not new for Ghislaine
J.D. Vance sent $150 Trump.
Whoa!
He converted to Judaism in 2017. I never saw you exposing that. I think it's an important detail. So maybe he even believes he is the Messiah given his narcissism, hence all the Jewish awards. Thanks for your important work.
Well, he's definitely got a Messiah complex, but I'm sorry to burst your bubble. What was your name that sent that? Thank you, by the way, for the huge dono, JD Vance. Dude, the source for the Trump converted to Judaism thing in 2017 is that prankster hoaxer David Goldberg. Okay, it's not a real Jew. In the video where he said that, it ends with him and his White House insider, this woman with a fake Jewish accent, like them making love together. True News played that because they're gullible and it was tabloid. It's not a real source. Sorry to burst your bubble, but the source for Trump converting to Judaism was literally some prankster pretending to be a Jew who was watching my YouTube channel. JD Vance, his first video was calling for me to be banned, and it's a satire account. Look at this. Since you sent in $100. Look, here's a screenshot I took of his thing. David Elias Goldberg. It's using a fake photo. See one of his first videos. Jewish organizations seek to shut down Adam Green. All right, you ready to see this?
CNN and Fox News have interviewed her as well. My Jewish friends in New York. Very bad girl.
This is how the video ends.
Isabel, no one will ever know of this.
Isabel, you're a bad girl.
Send this off to Robbie. He does the videos. I trust him. Go to synagogue.
Yeah, how could True News hear this video and look at this guy's account and do no background investigation into him at all? It ends with them hooking up, an obvious joke, and they shared it around as if it was real.
And he will get rid of this. I don't know how to delete these things. I don't know how any of this works, but no one can know.
Oh, the Jewish insider David Goldberg is exposing the plan to destroy all the anti-Semites.
See you again.
I don't know, David.
I don't know. Sounds like the girl from Family Guy.
Special arrangements for that.
Okay. Now here's his second video. Shut it down. Adam Green shut it down. This is the source for the hoax about Operation Pogo, the hoax about Donald Trump converting to Judaism and believing Jared Kushner is the Moshiach. It was a troll that was watching my channel. And he successfully trolled a whole lot of people.
Adam Green, listen to me. I'm making phone calls to my Jewish friends in New York. I'm making phone calls to my friends in the media. I'm making phone calls to my friends at many top Jewish organizations. And I'm going to I am telling them about you, and I'm going to continue to tell them about you. And we are going to shut you down. Unless you shut yourself down. Adam Green, shut it down. Shut it all down. Close your YouTube channel if you know what's good for you. Because you are spewing hatred toward the Jews by stating facts and then making criticisms. And that is illegal.
Stating facts and making criticisms is illegal. Look at this fake. He made up like a mock blog. Jewish organizations seek to shut down Adam Green's anti-Semitic YouTube channel. David Elias Goldberg fighting anti-Semitism. You get JD Vance? Do you realize that this is the source for Trump converting? And then True News saw this and made a video about it. Irresponsible.
Everyone knows that criticizing Jews is anti-Semitic and it is illegal and is hate speech. Why don't you know that? Why are you even allowed to exist? You little cockroach. You anti-Semitic, goy, cockroach. You have no right to say what you're saying about the Jews. And you're making a lot of good points, and you're making valid arguments, and you're using video and evidence and facts to back up what you're saying, and it's reaching people, and we cannot have that. We have to shut it down. So I'm calling you out. I'm letting you know I'm aware of you. I know what you're up to.
Yeah, if True News will believe in Jesus, they'll believe in this shit. Oh, it's obviously a fake voice.
We see what you're doing, and it is making too much noise, and it's making too much sense to the Gentiles. You're reaching white people. You're reaching black people and Latinos.
Latinos. I love that part. You're reaching the Latinos.
And Asians and Americans, and you're making sense, and they're starting to put the puzzle pieces together. They're starting to connect the dots, and that's hate speech. That's anti-Semitism. You're criticizing Jewish people. That is hate speech. Don't you see what's going on in Congress? Don't you see what Donald Trump is doing? They're passing laws. It's going to be illegal, you clown. All of you. It's going to be illegal to criticize Jewish people. We are finally going to shut you anti-Semites up, put you in your place. We are the Jewish people. We are the chosen people. Don't you know that? We rule over you. Israel is your authority. Do you understand that? We control your government.
Dude, yeah.
You are goyim.
When this first came out, I was laughing so hard. Looking for a date.
You are nothing but cattle to us. Don't you know? I guess you don't know because we keep it a very good secret. That our rabbinical...
Very rabbinical.
Our Talmud and our rabbinical teachings.
Okay, so there's that. Here's another video he did about Trump and Jared Kushner.
Everyone listening, I'm David Elias Goldberg. Look at my biography that I have on my YouTube channel if you don't know who I am. This is for the Jews who are listening. This is for you. We have an incredible individual in the White House. Donald Trump is part of the prophecy. We are going to rebuild the temple, and Jared Kushner is the Moshiach. Understand that. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Just all the things I was saying on my channel at the time. And mentioning me, only mentioning me. It's literally a fan of the channel that pranked everybody into believing retarded shit. So, mission accomplished. Oh, wait.
It was not that long ago, in an attempt to distance herself from Epstein, her great passion was to save the planet's oceans.
The deep sea and the wild animals that live there.
Now, it's other inmates and, of course, herself, with yet another spin on her relationship with former boyfriend Epstein.
When you look back and what you think your biggest mistake was?
I honestly wish I'd never met her. Because I didn't know that he was so awful. I mean, obviously now, looking back with hindsight, of course.
Do you consider yourself a victim of Jeffrey?
Well, I don't love the use of the word victim. But clearly, the fact that I worked for him and that I spent time with him and knew him has devastated my life and hurt many people that I love and hold dear that are around me.
Do you believe that?
I don't. I believe that Jeffrey Epstein was an opportunity to her, and I believe that she was an opportunity to Jeffrey Epstein. Without Jeffrey, I don't believe that Ghislaine could have maintained the lifestyle that her father gave her for most of her life.
Well, he paid her $30 million.
That's exactly right. And he got plenty in return.
If Ghislaine is a victim of anyone, according to Randy Cogan, it is most likely her domineering father, the disgraced media baron, Robert Maxwell. He fleeced hundreds of millions of dollars from his employees' pension funds before his body was found floating in the Atlantic Ocean, having apparently fallen overboard from his yacht, the Lady Ghislaine.
So the Jewish super spy, Mossad super spy, robbed all of the pensions from all his employees.
The official cause of his mysterious death in 1991 was heart attack and accidental drowning. But in echoes of her response to Epstein's suicide, Ghislaine believes in something more sinister, as she revealed in this interview in 1992.
What do you feel? What happened to him? You'll never know, so you'll never be 100% sure of exactly what took place. The only thing I'm sure of is that he did not commit suicide.
I feel that Robert and Jeffrey have very similar qualities. And I feel that Ghislaine spent most of her life trying to please her father. And her father groomed her to be this socialite, to learn how to read people and manipulate and exploit people.
People who spent time with Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein when they were together say that Ghislaine was deeply in love with Jeffrey Epstein, that she would do anything for him.
All right, so we got Ghislaine Maxwell drama. Here's author Michael Wolff. I think he's the one that released the audio of Epstein saying he was Trump's closest friend for 10 years. Now he's repeating his claim now that Epstein showed him that he had photos of Trump with topless girls by the pool.
And I've said before that Epstein used to bring out this set of pictures. There were about a dozen snapshots, and among them, there are at least 3 that I remember. 2 of topless girls sitting in Trump's lap around Epstein's swimming pool, and then one with a stain on the front of Trump's pants with 3 or 4 girls laughing and pointing at it. So I have seen those pictures.
So what's your best guess as to where they are?
Well, I'm my best guess is that Epstein kept them in the safe. A safe was emptied out by the FBI. Where are those pictures?
Where are the Trump with the topless girls? Don't know if they're underage or not. Images. Steve Bannon is asked if he'll release the 2019 Epstein footage for a doc called Monsters.
My story.
He's been sitting on it for 6 years.
Real quick, Steve, big fan of your show. Just want to ask, in 2019, you did an interview with Jeffrey Epstein for a documentary you're making called Monsters. That interview never came out. Would you be willing to release that footage, and why hasn't the footage been released already? We're going to release the film, the 5-part series, next year, early next year. Yeah. You're going to see it. And by the way, the entire thing is how the elites in the intelligence services are inextricably linked with, it's what Tucker said last night. You're going to have to name names, and you're going to have to understand how the elites in the world, but also the intelligence services are inextricably linked in Epstein's story. That's the key. Awesome. Sure, real quick.
Well, that seems true. I'm just not confident at all that these are the guys that are going to be to expose any real truth. Jack Posobiec, who was there with the binder fiasco, the Epstein binder thing with all the Zionists there, who also goes to Zionist Organization of America conferences, as does Bannon, who grovels and glazes Sheldon Adelson there and says he's a proud Christian Zionist. Remember the clip I played of our friend Jeremy Roth-Kushel, who confronted Posobiec here about the Epstein network, and he had him sweating.
Awesome. Sure.
Sweating and stumbling. All right. 2 hours. We're at 2 hours. I got to go. We've got a ton of stuff to still cover. Maybe we'll touch on some of it tomorrow. I'll save it for the Wednesday show. Still have a whole bunch of other tabs, too. We're going to go out today on See Through It All's retirement mix. He's threatening retirement on all of us again, guys. He's got a 13-minute mix. We're going to go out watching this one. I'm sure it's going to be fire. And I will be back tomorrow. Huge interview. David Skirbina, author of The Jesus Hoax. Just wanted to double check. He is coming on 2 p.m. Eastern. Be there. Don't miss it. It's going to be a huge interview. Owen Schroyer on Thursday. I'll be back on Wednesday and pick up and cover where I left off today. Going to be a huge show. Thank you for all the support. We made the goal today. You guys are awesome. Wouldn't be able to do it without you guys.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Alrighty then.
You guys are incredible. Share the link, share the show, give it a like, subscribe. NoMoreNews.org to pick up a few more t-shirts I have left. High quality V-neck, No More News, Viking Owl, and Viking Longboat shirts. Get them before they're gone. I see Expose the Enemy says thank you. I can't wait to do I'm going to do the Expose the Enemy marathon. I think I've done that before also. He's got a bunch of new videos out. Hugely important information that's being gate kept and suppressed that that I want everybody to see so you can have the understanding and the information to know what's going on. So you guys are all awesome. Love you all, and enjoy. Don't leave. Enjoy the mix made by See Through It All here. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Fulfilled all of his promises. The Christian world will worship a Jew as their God. You are going to worship a Yid. Not only do they serve us, they worship a Yid. Esav will worship Yaakov. Let's serve a Jew, worship a Jew. Before the religion of Christianity, the Romans worshiped the stars, they worshiped the constellations. As soon as they decided to adopt a religion, what kind of religion did they adopt? They didn't worship a God. They took a Yid. They took a Jew. You're going to worship your brother, says Yitzchak to Esav. You're going to suffer the indignant fate that if you ever want to come close to God, you're going to have to worship a Jew. You're going to deify a Jew. You're going to consider a Jew a God, Eloki. That's the bracha, esachicha tavoid. They have to worship a Jew. That is their religion. They worship the Jewish people.
I just want to say this to our Christian friends. You know, you guys are worshiping one Jew.
Yeah, Elon said Bannon's on the list. Bannon's on the Epstein list.
And they turn them into something that is divine. He says this is actually a forerunner of Mashiach. When this will become the definition of every Jew. So they chose one Jew. When Mashiach comes, that's every Jew. What Christianity says about one Jew, when true reality emerges, is really the truth about every Jew. We're talking about when Mashiach comes. The whole world, the Gentile world, are going to serve them as godly.
It's interesting that, you know, when Christians say, you Jews think you're chosen, I said, no, just the opposite. You think God is a Jew, we don't.
Yeah, you think we're chosen.
Thanks, Christians.
But it's the Christians that hold that God is Jewish. We don't hold God as Jewish.
Look at the Christians. 2 billion Christians admire and worship one Jew. They call him Son of God.
During the millennial reign, 1,000 years, every Christian on earth will be following a Jewish rabbi from Nazareth.
Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. I'm a Christian, he's a Jew.
We do come out of the Abrahamic, tradition, so it is Judeo-Christian. People attack that, but it comes out of the Jews.
Any form of Christianity that would...
These mixes are so powerful. The music hits me on another level.
Everything in the Bible.
And it really sinks in.
Today, being blessed as a people, everything spiritually that we have from God has Jewish fingerprints all over it. The whole religious system.
Help me, Jesus. Help me, Jewish God.
You know, the first Christian community was Jewish. The apostles were Jewish. Jesus was Jewish.
I think that the Jewish
Jesus
Messiah
Christ,
came. His name was Jesus.
All the gods of the nations are demons. But God, Yahweh, who is Jesus, is the creator. The true God, God of the Jews, in these passages is Jesus. For salvation is of the Jews.
We worship, says Jesus, what we do know, because salvation is from the Jews. In fact, if you're going to hate on Israel and you hate on Jews, you got to consider the consequences. You're standing against God Almighty, because the Lion of the tribe of Judah is the King of the Jews.
Christianity is a Jewish religion. And because of that, we owe a great debt to the Jewish people. Without them, Jesus said salvation is of the Jews.
Christians acting within the spirit of Christ have always and should have always been friendly towards Jewish people.
Yeah, it doesn't have to.
Because Jesus was a Jew.
We share half of their Bible. Our Savior is Jewish. Our Savior is the fulfillment of Jewish prophecy, of Jewish law, of Jewish ceremonies and celebrations. We should have, I believe, an affinity for the Jewish people that makes us zealous for their salvation.
Jesus is the son of David, root of Jesse, Lion of the tribe of Judah. God fulfilled all of his promises. Jesus is a Jew. Those first early followers of Jesus were Jew. As a matter of fact, for the first couple of years, the emphasis
And I think it was actually a fulfillment of prophecy. The first couple of years, the emphasis was upon the Jewish people, and then it switches also to a Gentile evangelism and mission. The Jews inherited the blessings. They were entrusted with the very oracles of God.
Let's start with who the Jews are to begin with. They are God's chosen people. Listen, the Bible that we all love came through the Jewish people. And the Messiah, our Christ, our Savior, our Lord Jesus, he, of course, was a Jew. So we should continue to pray for the Jewish people and pray for Israel. And understand that this anti-Semitism we see around the world is from hell.
I am a follower of Christ. I worship a Jew. I worship a Jew. Jesus was a Jew, not a Gentile. So, all the anti-Semitism that is going on in the name of Christianity is a farce.
Guilty. You're a Jew.
Obviously.
Doesn't matter.
Because a Christian is someone who worships a Jew. If you're a Christian, you worship a Jew. You believe that God became a human being and he was a Jew. So anti-Semitism in the name of Christianity is a violent contradiction, obviously.
Yeah, well, I worship a Jew. Jesus was a Jew. So faith in Jesus is not anti-Semitic.
So Jesus does not contradict the Old Testament. He claims to be the fulfillment of the law, the fulfillment of all those Old Testament prophecies. He claims to be Messiah for the Jew. And obviously in the first century, the vast majority of followers of Christ were Jews.
Eli, I like your name, sir. Thank you. Biblical, I'm Jewish.
Great. I worship a Jew.
Christians worship our brother, turned him into a god. They believe that he's the Trinity, so he's like a God incarnate. Right. Okay, he's our brother. He was a Jew.
Stereotyping Jews is terrible.
As you know, and as were the 12 apostles, and as was the Virgin Mary.
The whole world knows about religion from us. The first Christians, almost all of them were Jewish. Don't ever forget that. And the first Christians were Jews, and the idol that they worship was a Jewish person.
Jesus being a Jew for better or for worse, and the nations are still bowing down to a Jew regardless of his status.
Jesus himself was Jewish. You know, don't forget that part of this. That there's never been a more influential human being in the history of the world. For me, he's Messiah. Maybe he's not for the Jews. They don't see him that way. But even they won't deny the incredible influence that he had, or that he was Jewish.
So who would you say Jesus of Nazareth, the man, the historical man that Christians point to as our God, who do you think that he was in history, if not God?
It's most likely that he was an Orthodox Jew, just like me. We would do the same rituals that I do today. He would do. If he's resurrected tomorrow, he would never have had been in a church.
The Jewish people gave us the Old Testament. They gave us King David. They gave us Jesus Christ, the Savior of the world. They gave us St. Paul, who is the founder of the New Testament church. Simply said, without the Jewish contribution to us, we would have nothing.
Tiny Hands, Chosen People Magic Book.
There is no greater partnership in the state of Israel and the believing Christians around the world.
I encourage Christians all over the world.
You sit on a throne of lies.
You must make your journey to Israel.
How can I not be happy when I see millions of goyim bow down to one Jew?
So you get all these conspiracy theorists that go, the Jews rule the world. No, they don't. But someday a Jew will rule the world. He's still Jewish.
Boy.
He's coming back as a Jew.
That escalated quickly.
Physical Jewish body.
I mean, that really got out of hand
nations will bow down to him.
Jesus will return. And when he returns, he's not laying his foot down in Washington, D.C., Berlin, Tokyo, London, Paris. He's going to lay his foot down
is how they enslave us.
Olives in Jerusalem.
The Bible says that Jesus will return to Israel, that he will return to Jerusalem. It says in Zechariah, I think 14, that when he returns, his feet will hit the Mount of Olives and it'll split in half. And so God has chosen the nation of Israel to bring us the Hebrew Scriptures, to bring us the nation of Israel, to bring us Jesus Christ as a descendant of Abraham, and the fulfillment of all that was prophesied and promised in Hebrew Scriptures through the Jewish people.
So if Satan and demons can destroy Israel and take it over and have it ruled by Islam and jihad, then the war that was lost in heaven would be won on the earth, and Satan wouldn't get heaven, but he would get earth forever. To save the nation of Israel, the Lord Jesus Christ returns.
What we're watching isn't primarily a geopolitical battle or an ideological battle or even a religious battle. It's a spiritual battle. Anti-Semitism is fueled by Satan himself. It's a spirit, and the spirit behind anti-Semitism is the spirit of Antichrist. And I believe what every Christian should understand is the same spirit that drives the hatred of the Jewish people will ultimately drive the hatred and persecution of the Christian church. So it's incumbent upon us to be advocates for the Jewish people, to use our voices, certainly to pray for the peace of Jerusalem, but to use our voices and our influence to be advocates for the Jewish people in our communities, in our nations. We've got to repudiate what we've been seeing on college campuses, celebrated college campuses, in the streets of too many of our cities. And if the church will take its place, I believe it'll bring a reciprocal blessing to us, even in our nation. So it's an important time for us not just to watch this and imagine it's political. It's a very spiritual battle. We're indebted to the Jewish people. You know, our Messiah is an observant Jewish rabbi. Without the Jewish people, we have no covenants, we have no story, we have no Messiah.
Yeah, well, that's just like
the enemy,
your
Satan,
opinion,
always
man.
tried to destroy the Jewish people. The Messiah was going to come through the Jewish people, and for the second coming, it's when the Jewish people call on the Savior and they finally realize who he was that ushers in the second coming of Christ. So that's why there's still a satanic hatred of the Jewish people and an irrational global rise of anti-Semitism all over the world.
Will bow and every tongue will confess that Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach, is Lord to the glory of God the Father.
In Isaiah 49 and 50, it says that when the Messiah comes, nations will begin to convert. Kings and queens will worship the Jewish Messiah.
Spiritual Jews are Christians.
And we see people like Adam Green, who I did a debate with, but constantly talking about Christians as Jew worshipers. And certainly we worship Jesus Christ, who was a Jewish man.
Jesus was a Jew.
And I'm not out of order.
You can't be the Messiah and not be in the lineage of Abraham, David, etc. So Jesus has to be a Jew, has to be a Hebrew to fulfill the prophecies, right?
A Jew will rule the world. That's Jesus from Jerusalem. All Israel will be saved on that day. And then Paul goes on to quote Isaiah 59, which leads right into Isaiah 60, which talks about the glories of the restored Jewish kingdom.
Strangers
cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks.
What does the note say? The nations will serve the Jews. The Jews will in turn serve the nations. These passages share a vision of a new world order. And ethnicities will remain distinct, but they will all adopt monotheism.
When it comes to taking a pagan, polytheistic world and moving them towards the right direction, Christianity and Islam have done a great job in doing that. So in that regard, we see Christianity and Islam as helping bring the world to observe what they're supposed to ultimately observe, the Noahide Code.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Noahide Code, turning away from paganism. That was fire. That was fire. Got a lot of soundboard action during that one. Great show, great support. Thank you all. I'd go crazy without you guys. I'm really liking where we're at, where the community's at. People are getting it. People are getting active. We're winning the arguments. We're on the march. I can sense their desperation. I'm feeding off of the tears and the copes. That was an awesome compilation. I've got some great material still to get to. I'm going to have to pick up on Wednesday. Some stuff to cover. We got some Evan Williams AI videos, AI songs. We got the rabbi debate clips. We got John Garadas mix. All types of new stuff to cover on the next stream. Multicultural Christian marches in Canada. So stay tuned. See you tomorrow. David Scorbino will be on 2 p.m. Eastern. And then I'll see you guys then. Everybody have a nice night. And take care.
Raised to be a Christian believer, but also as a seeker. Mama never held back the good, bad, or ugly from me. Eventually started wondering, after a long time of fighting myself. I saw a post that said exactly what I felt. Jesus, an ancient deception. Found Adam Green through a Twitter suggestion. Then I watched his debate with Duvid, leaving Christianity. Finally I could do it. Lost good friends, middle fingers on their hands. So many want to remain clueless. I feel like Adam Green sometimes. I'm just asking you to see my side. Some say I'm anti-Semitic, others say that I'm a Jew, but the truth is I am neither, I'm just trying to reach you. I feel like Adam Green sometimes. I know what it's like to be seen as the devil, when in reality you're trying to help them. They say I need to be saved by Jesus, but they're the ones in need of the saving. There's already been a few, started with the fall of Rome. It's not God, it's evil people destroying these homes. Human-made prophecies try to start the end times. See a foreign land as holy, brainwashed to resent mine. Books our ancestors wanted passed down to their people got replaced with ones that say our ancestors were evil. Been worshiping demons and knowing not what they did. Should we trust ourselves or the books that make us villains? You fall for the latter and say we should be tolerant, but your faith builds a prison in your head. I feel like Adam Green sometimes. I'm asking you to see my side. And one group says I'm anti-Semitic, another says that I'm a Jew, and the truth is I am neither, I'm just trying to reach you. I feel like Adam Green sometimes. And I'm all for not letting faith have us divided. But the spread of your faith was when all this deadly division started. I feel like Adam Green sometimes. I need you all to see my side. I've seen it, I believe it. And one group says I'm anti-Semitic, another says that I'm a Jew, and the truth is I am neither, I'm just trying to reach you. Can you see my view? Listen to Adam Green sometimes.